Very awful situation has unfolded in Atlanta. You're looking at live pictures coming in from that Wendy's over there where the incident occurred last night. Look at that building. It's now totally engulfed in flames. That's where Rayshard Brooks, he was in his car, simply going through the drive-thru. He fell asleep. Our cars were going around him. The police showed up, and then that situation deteriorated big time, resulting in Rayshard Brooks, 27 years old, being shot and killed by police. And there are a lot of angry folks in Atlanta. They blocked off Interstate 75, a major interstate in the Atlanta area. Firefighters can't even get to the Wendy's and other places in the area to deal with that fire. So that fire continues right now with no firefighters on the scene. Ariva Martin is still with us, our legal analyst. She's a civil rights attorney at the same time. Ariva, as you see the situation, it was a very peaceful demonstration, but then things quickly deteriorated.
Yeah, we've seen that happen with really throughout the country as we've watched these protests erupt following the brutal murder of George Floyd. And I think we minimize the pain of the protesters when we only focus on the fires or the looting, because I don't think we can even understand the pain that the African American community and communities really all over the world are feeling as we watch these deaths play out. When being killed by the police is the sixth leading cause of death for Black men, we are way beyond policy changes. We're way beyond body cams or policies as it relates to tasers. We have to have that incredibly uncomfortable conversation in this country that focuses on systemic racism. And we get really close often to having that conversation. We teeter around the edges of it, but then we retreat from it. But until we have that conversation, we can enact policies at the local level, we can enact policies at the federal level, but they're not going to be carried out in any way that respects the dignity and humanity of African American men. And we keep seeing that over and over again. We have been at this point on so many occasions. Walter Scott, as Chris Stewart talked about, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin. We can do a roll call of all of the African American men that have been killed by police and what happens in the aftermath. There's intense media scrutiny of the death. There's a protest, there's call for change, and then we go back, we retreat back into that place that's safe without pushing through and having this conversation about systemic racism and how it permeates police departments around this country. And we have to have that conversation at this moment, or we'll be right back here, not in 5 years, as Chris suggested, but we'll be back probably next week and definitely next month.